for anybody that didn't have any sort of fireworks going off the way that I did when I first got that glimpse, it was because for me, it was much more than this expression of like an anaconda. It was more than that. People go about their lives speaking about, cutting the grass low to get to be able to see the snakes and watch out for that person because, he or she has snaky characteristics. And for me, it just brought up this idea of like, okay, so how much of a understanding do I actually have of this individual that I'm already putting a guard to? And yes, of course, maybe there's interactions with individuals that we have where the time or the space is inadequate for you to be able to like observe them on a deeper level, because maybe in passing your instinct was to put a guard up, and I understand that. But for me, it was like, okay, how much further can I take it with anybody else, and understanding, like being compassionate as to like, okay, who is this person for in actuality? How much further can I dig, instead of just putting a wall in between, they and I? And that's why for me, that expression was so groundbreaking. Like it just made me, fireworks light off in my mind. And so that aspect for me was incredibly important in that conversation they were having.
Well, to add to that, that's so powerful because people make judgment. You don't know someone's heart until you actually observe it. So don't automatically judge. Really get to see who someone is. Now, am I telling you to listen to their words? No. I'm telling you to listen to their behavior and what they do. Really pay attention. And something that's very important, even as you try to help others, it's so important to first meet them where they're at. Second, instead of putting them in their place, put yourself in their place. And then take them to where they want to go. But you have to first connect. And just how so many want to place judgment, first let them observe your behavior. Let them see your conviction for what you're trying to teach. Because if you're trying to teach someone something, it's because you do it, because you practice it. So when you're looking to help others, you got to let time go by. If I give someone a lesson and I put something into their awareness, I don't expect them to get it right there and then, because that information was never inside of them. I throw the information inside of them so as they live and experience life, they can have aha moments, epiphanies, insights can be born. Or when they read a book, insight can be born. And then when I see that now they have arrived at the new knowing, then I have more. But you can't just throw everything you got in one shot. It's little by little and where they're at. And just because you know it doesn't mean that they know it. And just because you say it doesn't mean that they understand it. So be patient. Because learning and teaching is not the way we want it to be. It's the way it is. And we only really learn from doing, from action. I can give you my wisdom in a conversation, or I could write it down and you can read it. But until you experience it, until you live it, that wisdom isn't yours. It's just knowledge. It's just information that you have that you don't have a deep understanding of. So with that gentleman, He's giving us a deep understanding of the wisdom he's developed. But until we go to the Amazon and go near an anaconda, we're not going to know it. He's able to paint a picture for us in our mind's eye, but the real knowing comes from doing. The ultimate thing we can do in life is experience it. Stop looking back at the past. Doesn't exist anymore. And forget about the future. Be present. Let everything go. See, I cannot control the external world and what happens in it. But I can control my internal world. And it's going to be based on what I believe about it, on what I have faith about. That's why, for me, I'm always joyful. I'm always happy. Because I've gotten to a place in my life and understanding that the ultimate meaning of life, that is for loving. So I made a decision to feel peaceful, to feel joyful, to be happy. I made a decision to enjoy doing, process, journey, letting go of outcomes, letting go of expectations. I just let go. So much more enjoyable to live life when I'm just being, when I'm just doing. And when someone tells me that, hey, I need to have a bad day, I tell them, you're right. Because that's their belief. I'm not here to impose what I believe and what my mental models are on anyone. If someone says, you know what, I can't, I tell them, you're right. What I will do is give choices. I tell them, yes, you're right, but I am also right. So it's what we choose. And the hopes that they can arrive at a better understanding and belief than the one that they currently have. Because the reality is they are not wrong. Because if that is the reality that they're choosing to live, it is their right to live that reality. Now, I can sit here and talk about everything that's wrong on how they arrived at believing in that reality. I had a conversation earlier today with this gentleman, 52 years old, and he's just talking to me about the past and everything that's been wrong and everything that's been done wrong and how this isn't right and this information is that. And I tell him, I understand you, but I think different. I'm focused on what I'm doing to make things better under the scope of my influence. And what I'm not going to do is dwell on the bad. I'm not saying bad things don't happen, because they do. But I've never experienced anything good out of dwelling on bad things. Out of saying this isn't fair. Out of complaining. But I can tell you this. I felt a lot of joy and a lot of happiness focusing on the things that I can't control. On the things that I can do. On the actions that I can take. I don't really do comparisons. I don't really look left. I don't really look right. I'm just doing. That's what life is about. It's about doing, being here. What's happened has happened. How's that going to help? Focusing on that. The best thing to do is to go forward and let go of that. Because that kind of baggage is only going to weigh you down. That kind of baggage isn't going to make you feel good. And we all have different things to let go of. We all have different traumas. We all have different bad experiences. But my understanding, I need to see how these experiences, these traumas can make me better. And again, that's my belief. I would never impose my beliefs on anyone. The only thing that I do is let people know that they have a choice to choose their beliefs. Because what they have might not be them. Those impressions that are inside of them that are the truth could be school, could be a parent, could be a cousin, could be an uncle, aunt. It could come from all over the place. So what I'm telling them to do is get rid of all the layers of impressions that they have. And when you get to what's there, where you get to what is the raw of their heart, what do they choose? And understanding that what you choose is for you. And as long as you're not imposing yourself and what you choose on anyone else, it's an easy life. There's nothing wrong with it. It could be joyful. Focus on your relationships. Focus on encouraging people around you. See what your world becomes. And then, as you go and you make the people around you and your influence better, as your influence increases, then start doing more. So, hey, we can start with the community. Then from community, you could go to state. Then from state to country. And ultimately, country world. Because the reality of it is that we're all human beings. That's what I see. That's what I choose to see. I choose to see everyone as an individual. I choose to see everyone with a different heart. And I'm not here to tell people that my way is the way. I'm here to tell people that what they choose, as long as it doesn't bring harm to others, is the way. Because we're all meant to be free, to be ourselves, to be who we are. And have fun discovering a way with being who you are. How can that connect with your life to what you do for your life's work? And how can that contribute to the world around us? And are there other things happening? Yes, of course. But if I can't personally do anything about those other things, I might as well do the good that I can. You know, I'm inspired by a man who said, I have a dream. I'm inspired by a man who said, ask not what your country could do for you, but what you can do for your country. And then I would like to expand on that to say, ask not what the world can do for you, but what can you do for the world? I'm inspired by a man who said, be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm inspired by a man who said, yesterday I was clever, so I was trying to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. So as I live life, I look for inspiration. And I look for the things that connect to my heart. And then I express it. Because ultimately what you always see is me, being who I am. And just enjoying every single day as if it was a full lifetime. From the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep, everything with intention. Everything with purpose. Now, does that mean work, work, work? No. That also means how I relax. That also means how I enjoy. How I reflect. How I disconnect. Because ultimately, we're supposed to explore everything that life is. And we're all going to see it different. We all have different windows. These eyes, right? We all have a different view. But explore your views. And then surround yourself by the greatest people in the world that you find and come across. Keep them. People are so fast to throw people away. No, keep everyone. Because uniquely, that individual is going to have a perspective that you will never have. And if they do good, and if they are good, nurture them. As people, we don't grow because people don't care, because people don't nurture. Take the time. As long as what you see within their nature is good, take the time. And then, even if you don't see what's good, then even if you can't take the time because that person is not ready to listen, then model. Let them see what greatness looks like. Human excellence. Let them see what a giver, a contributor looks like. So the day that they are ready, they have a reference point. They can remember back to you doing what you did and then saying, now I understand it. Now I see it. But if we don't model, if we don't nurture, then how do we evolve as people? How does that ever come about? If someone does something bad and then I go and I react and do something bad in return, that only deepens the wound inside of them. That's not what strength is supposed to look like. What strength is supposed to look like is that someone can do something ill-intentioned and I'm going to respond with undeserved kindness. So now that they have a reference point of what life can be and what strength really looks like, vulnerability, being yourself, being honest, living with an open heart. So that way that you may attract those hearts that are meant to be in your life. Because if I close off, then what? And then also see further. Don't just see someone for who they are today. See for who they can be 10 years from now. So just because they're not there, don't throw them away. If you can see that future, nurture. Push them towards that. Little nudges. And remember, it's power versus force. You're not forcing them. It's the power in you being you that's going to have them walk forward into that direction. And then what are the outcomes? Then you have a world of artists. For me, everyone that I see that comes to Give Fitness is an artist, is a creator. And we have all these amazing perspectives that add to each other from different experiences. And everyone's insights and perspective of just growing. The views of the world is just growing. The ideas are evolving, getting better and better. This is where we come to test our ideas through the dialogues, through the conversations. And then everyone's perspective adds to it. I might be the founder and creator of Give Fitness, but I'm only the gatekeeper. I'm the filter. This is a combination of everyone's hearts, of everyone who's ever walked through that door, of everyone who has added. This is an energy of what the world can be everywhere. And with this culture and this environment that we've established here, now we're going into the world and we're helping others establish that, whether it is in the government world through education, whether it is in the corporate world through businesses and multi-million-dollar corporations. It doesn't matter what level, because human interaction is human interaction. The idea is building collaboration. Teamwork is good, but collaboration is better. See that? Because it's when we collaborate, it's when we build on each other's strength. That's when greatness is born. That's when great things happen. And no longer second sourcing information, actually going on the forefront and experiencing. So that way we could bring the best knowing possible back. So that way with the collective can build more, can create more. And the success is not the monetary gain. The real success is coming from all the lives that we've impacted, all the lives that we have changed for the better. You know you're on the right path when you have moments in your life where you get so much gratitude that you get overwhelmed and tears of joy flow out because it's such an overwhelming emotion of so much good that everyone's hearts expressing all this love and good and expressing how you, because you took the time, the kind of impact it has had on their lives. People building people up, people being successful, and expressing gratitude. It's overwhelming because you have to understand it's about a better reality. It's about a better view, a better perspective. Our philosophy is simple. Everything in life must be easy, correct, and enjoyable. Because if it's easy to you, if your inner world is at peace and it feels easy, then you can do it correctly. And if you can do it correctly, then it's enjoyable. And what feeds us as people, as human beings, is progress. We don't have to suffer to make progress. You can literally have laughter and enjoy and make progress all your life. Now, I'm not saying that this should be the absolute truth from everyone. I'm telling you that this is my personal absolute truth. This is my personal ideal. See what you come up with for yourself. See what principles, values you choose to live your life by that are going to bring you peace, joy, happiness.